usual, I got here as soon as I could. I'm just back into the country, having been in beautiful Vietnam. Wow. Wow. With my husband's side of the family. Amazing, amazing family time. Belly laughs, sending that feeling of beautiful belly laughs to everyone. I hope you have some of that gorgeous, yummy, yummy healing time. So I've said for a bit that I was going to share my experience with Corona. Hi, Charles. Oh, yay! In San Diego, you're right down there. Because I've shared this with a few people who've said it was really helpful. So, and then I just shared it today at my last meeting, and I got the nudge. So I follow that nudge, and here we are together. And I want to acknowledge that the experience with coronavirus, has been different for everybody, and that's real and true. And so this is not, I'm not here to discount anybody's experience, and to acknowledge everybody's, and to share this in case it's helpful as a reframe, or in case it resonates with you and it's something you maybe haven't heard. So I'll speak both as, love to you in Germany. I'll speak both as from my direct personal experience of what feels to me of experiencing coronavirus in my body, of meditating with corona, and of noticing larger patterns these last 4 years, both in myself and my husband and people I know, and in things that I've been hearing about, and just reading into this incredible time of transformation that we've been that we've been collectively experiencing, and it's heating up. Maybe you're feeling that. So, and as always, take or leave anything as it resonates with you. Yeah, and feel free to, don't get stuck on the words. If the words are different for you, just translate them into what makes sense for you. So I'll use the words that make sense for me. My experience of Corona, I feel this very feminine, this ancient, feminine, powerful energy. Ever since, so I'll use pronouns she, because that's what I experience. Ever since she came on the world scene, I started meditating with her, and I said, I hear you. I feel this grandmother energy. I said, I hear you. I would like to hear your wisdom, because clearly you have a lot to say. And if it's possible for me to experience this wisdom and to learn from you, and stay healthy in my body, great. I would love that. And I know that I don't have total control. So for I think it was 2022, the summer of 2022, that first my husband, we would say got the virus, or to me it feels more like a plant medicine journey, like a deep, deep medicine journey. So when he was going through that experience, I sat in meditation and I said, grandmother, you are a guest in my home. Welcome. And I'm listening. And what wisdom do you have to share with me? And then it was a month later that I sat with her in my body and had a very, very transformational experience. It was, anytime I'm ill, as we call it, to me, it's an altered state, and I'm going to be experiencing things differently than I do in my normal state of being. So I really open to what that wisdom is. So I'll share mostly about that, because that was the peak. I experienced this energy kind of like a clearing away, not kind of, a clearing away, and absolutely they're like changing up the way my relationship to life, and in doing things in kind of that linear patriarchal way that we've been really conditioned in this society. That just this nope, that's not going to work anymore. Find another way. Find life-giving ways to be in relationship to life. So it's been a time of deep re-examination of the conditioning. We've noticed that with George Floyd and with Me Too and with so many of these transformational movements of looking at the like just destructive, linear, disconnected ways of doing things out of pressure. I spoke a few weeks ago about that difference between being compelled to do something versus being impelled from within. So it was like my brain would no longer compute doing things because I was supposed to, or doing things because, well, I said I would, and I don't want to give up on myself because I said I'm an actor, and so that is supposed to look this way, and if I want to make sure that everybody knows I'm doing it right, then I better do this, that, and the other thing. Oh, exhausting. Yeah. And so it's been building, at the same time of clearing away. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of yeses. That pause was focused and very reflective. Pausing more. Feeling into, why do I feel, is that coming from me, or is that coming from the conditioning? So, has anybody taken a Vipassana 10-day retreat? It's a really, really powerful meditation retreat. And one of the teachings in there from Mr. Goenka is this idea that we're all going around trying to polish the statues of us that are in other people and make sure that we appear correctly to other people. And it's exhausting to try and make sure that the image of you in everybody is shiny. And so there's been this deep letting go of needing to do that, of needing to make sure that people get me or understand, or understand that I'm doing the right things, and just breathe and trust and listen for what is my next drop to do, because I'm not going to be able to do it all. It's not for me to do it all. I wouldn't be making space for the you and the drops that you're doing and the drops that we get to do collectively. So in that time of sitting with Abuela Corona, there were just floods of past lives that came into clarity for me. And I've mentioned before, I've remembered past lives since I was a kid. And all through, this whole life has been about remembering and stories that I'll be called to write, I'll notice are completing and healing things from the past in really deep ways. And so that was even more opening into those, into really integrating those lessons and timelines from the past into the now, so that my projects and my relationships are happening with the awareness of resonance in all these other timelines, which is really rich. Does that resonate for anybody else? Anybody else feeling time in a linear fashion be opening up and integrating more? Yeah. Yes. I'm getting some yeses and less exhausting. Yeah. So things I've noticed from other people too. I've had a lot of people, a lot of friends move out of Los Angeles. realized that what they were doing at a time was coming from a pressure, and that they were called to move somewhere else, or called to stay in LA, but in a different way, reshaping their relationship to their work. My husband and I also got clear that we don't feel called to have children this life. And there's been so much conditioning that has come up around that, and all kinds of old stuff around that. But it feels like a really life-giving choice for us, for how both of us, for our work, we're gone a lot. And the projects and the things that we feel called to put our life energy into, and into mentoring, and also being auntie and uncle, and I'm a fairy godmother to 3 beautiful children. So that feels really clear for us in terms of where we're called to put our energy. But it's also brought up a lot of old conditioning to re-examine and see, okay, what's ours to carry forth, and what's ours to heal and let go of and disidentify from. So what's coming through because of this process is so much more peace, so much more joy, so much more life-giving energy. Because when I sort of remove the resistance of feeling like, oh no, I should be doing all of these other things. Look at them. They're doing all of this, and they're doing that, and maybe I should also, I have to also be, an activism in the ways that everybody else, an activist in the ways that all these other people are an activist. And when I release that tension and listen for, okay, the universe has created me in a very particular way. So how do I feel called to utilize my particular skills and interests and talents and gifts to be an advocate in a way that will be the most effective and aligned for what I have to offer? And be able to let go and honor that that's going to be different for everybody, and that that's not only okay, but a good thing, because it helps me stay in balance. It helps me stay present. It helps me really give that energy to the few things that I do feel called to do in a way that is life-giving and not depleting. Because how much energy does it take to be shaming myself? Yeah? Or to be dividing my attention, to be dividing one's attention into thinking that we're supposed to be doing all the things. Yeah, I love this. I'm going to read a few things that people are saying. Charles is saying, it still seems like all of these past 4 years are existing at the same time. Each era are very accessible in memory. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that powerful? Lumberjack T says, everyone is dealing with their own singularity moments. Yeah. Yes, absolute peace. The path of least resistance. Yeah, because it's that that freeing up that energy. It's like if I know there's something I need to do and I'm resisting it, and I just finally do it, oh my gosh, how much more energy is lost in like resisting something that either needs to happen or that I need to let go of. And the more facile I am with freeing up that energy, with just following that in intuition to either do that thing or realize, nope, that's not mine to do, so much energy is then freed up to be exactly where I need to be and to trust that. So I think I've shared about muscle testing before, but I'm feeling called to share that again. So there are many different ways to tune in to a discernment process. And I would love it if people have a discernment process and you want to share it. I find this so helpful because when I'm not grounded or when I don't have a discernment process, I can go back and forth. I can kind of get into that pinball mind where I'm pinging back and forth between all these different bells and like, oh, I should do this, or should I do that, or should I do that? So with that pinball reference comes, it's kind of like, let the ball drop. Let that grounding drop for a moment and stop pinging around and feel what's mine to do. Reload. I love pinball. And then the next time I fire that, I'll know exactly where to do my little flippers and enjoy that game. So I like to muscle test in this way. Lumberjack is saying, you literally get to keep your life energy in such an affirming and sustainable way. Yeah, sustainable is a great one too. So there are many different ways to muscle test. I like to do this one with my pinky, and I think I did this recently, so I'll just make it brief, but my pinky and thumb of your non-dominant hand. So for me, that's my left hand. And then you take your ring finger of the other hand. And this is if you have hands. If you don't have hands, there are so many ways to do this. And you can literally just feel it in your body. Or you can imagine stepping into one option and feel what that feels like. Or stepping into another option and feel what that feels like in your body. But basically, your body knows. Because your body is connected to all that is. And sometimes our brains interrupt that flow, which is really helpful for getting stuff done. But sometimes we want to pause the interruptions and feel what the body knows. So you'll ask a binary question, like a yes-no question, and you'll test out what feels strong for you. So maybe what is your yes and what is your no, what you go weak for, or what feels out of alignment. So, and I know I did do this recently. So you'll say, it is in my, like I did this today when I was trying to decide whether to do a live or whether to pre-record this. So I said, I could say it was most in my alignment to do a live stream today. And that for me is a yes. Or it is most beneficial for all to do a live stream today. It would be most beneficial for all if I stop this recording right now. And that for me feels very weak. So basically you resist, not like super strong, but you resist in a nice firm way. And then you try and pry that apart with your dominant hand. Again, not really forcing it. The intention is to feel what your body is telling you. So hello in Russia. Yeah. So James is asking, any one-woman shows? Y'all, my whole life changed this morning in beautiful ways. I'm not able to share anything yet. But suffice it to say, there are some big things happening and there isn't space for a one-woman show right now. But thank you for asking. And I have creative ideas all the time. So I trust that my body and the universe know where best to put my energy. And I would love to at least create some more fun, creative things on here. Got to do some improv music with my husband, with our family a couple days ago. And I really love that. So I will definitely be sharing more creatively. And we shall see what form that will take. And thank you for asking. V is asking, do I believe in God? And that's a great question. The interesting aspect of that question is that everyone has a different concept of what that question is. So I believe in divine greater intelligence, in collective intelligence. I don't believe in a dictatorship of somebody who's pulling all the strings. And I've had an idea of doing a video at some point about how I experience perspective and kind of maybe getting into a little bit of a potential concept for free will in terms of where we place our awareness. So we'll see if that takes form. But I don't believe in like a dude in the sky, but I also see value to connecting with a fatherly or a motherly or a parental figure. So I can do that. I have. And I think that's really beautiful. I've been really grateful to be inside of experiencing many different spiritual and religious paths. And I feel the same love at the center of each. And I know that each has the potential to create peace and love and connection. So it's really just, to me, I experience and feel that any path or spirituality or religion is as good as it helps one build a personal relationship with the divine. So, yeah, if that's helpful. I don't usually use the word God personally. I have many times in many of my journals and things, and I honor the word God. I honor the experience of God. But to me, I like to use many different words. Yeah. So that's kind of a long answer. Am I meditating? Yes. I have many ways to meditate. Some are through dance, some are through pausing. I did right before this. I needed to ground my energy and ask what to share today. So it goes through different cycles in my life depending on, I've had times where I'm, meditating 10 hours a day or meditating an hour a day. I've had many different practices. So currently, I do practices first thing in the day to clear and prepare and align and connect with Earth, with Mama Gaia, and with all that is, and to listen, to deeply listen. Hello in China. Favorite music? Favorites are hard for me. Favorite music, I guess I could say whatever's coming from the heart. Yeah, in all genres, whatever's coming from the heart. Tried humming the other day to chill out. Yay! Did it work for you? Oh, yay! Charles says, please know I CAP, I cap my day at least once a day, and it's been an active part of my practice for years. Oh, I'm so glad. That's a video maybe I can put in the chat. Just wondering how you feel about the current development of AI in terms of voice cloning and other technologies that demand creativity. Great question. Yeah, there's so much there. There's so much there. I believe that there is a place for AI for sure, and that there are tools that can be really helpful for creatives. I understand that the cost of hiring an artist to do the audio for a book, for example, can be prohibitive for people just starting out. And I think it's no replacement for, as humans, experiencing a human interpret art. There's no replacement for that. So I'm all for accessibility. There are people who need to have books read so that they can experience them, and that's great. So on a scale level, what AI can do to scale things up for accessibility is great. But I definitely have experienced and witnessed the exploitation of, marketing to people to just go with AI because it's cheaper, which I feel is a missed opportunity. I have clients and dear friends who are incredible audiobook people, and I do a lot of voiceover myself. And it's not easy, but there's nothing like it. There's nothing like interpreting. I mean, there's nothing like doing the writing. And then there's nothing like interpreting that and the challenge of that. It's not challenging for AI. So I feel like there's a certain element of magic that just doesn't exist for that. It's not like the machine is out there sweating, you know? But the amount of like love and just, oh, okay, how can I do this? How can I create a whole world of characters with an accent, you know, or with a language that's never been seen before? And that's a brilliant, fun challenge. And I love that there's still, I believe that there's will always be space for that. So yeah. Ah, Monterrey, Mexico. Hola. Good. I'm so glad the humming worked for you, Peter. I just saw a perspective that technology is its own consciousness and we need to start treating them as such. Yes, I agree. I agree. So let me know what experiences you have in communicating with technology that you work with. Yeah, I agree. What do I think is the finish line for mindfulness? What an interesting question. Does anything end? The finish line. So, I mean, nothing really does end, but we like finish lines. It's nice to have some definition as humans. So, presence, which is continual. Just as balance is not a fixed point, but a continual attunement, right? That's alive. That to me is mindfulness, is continually reattuning. Just like breath. Breath is in and out, and pause. Right? So presence, I would say, which really goes back into the concept of optimal versus perfection. That there's a living attunement, that even stillness is alive. I could be getting this wrong, but I learned a word, a German word, something like Fließgleichgewicht, something like that. Please, someone tell me how to do it better. Which, as I understand, was about living dynamic flowing balance, like dynamic flowing balance. And I love that concept because I had somehow thought that balance is a static position and I don't experience it as such, that we can get rigid if we're trying to find one still point. Human-made art in the future will become like organic food is now, a necessary niche if AI goes mainstream. We'll see. Chocolate! I see a random chocolate bar. I mean, yes to chocolate. Yes, optimal. All I know in German are some crazy aviation terms. Yay, aviation! Oh, it's so good to connect with you all today. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Let's build some energy together, some vibes, to really fill all of our bodies and beings with, so that each of us is experiencing having all that we need, being all that we need in a dynamic flow, in a balance that is continually sharing all that is excess with all who need it. I invite you, if you feel like joining me, to envision each person, each being in this earth and beyond, experiencing themselves as whole, as complete, as safe, as deeply loved for all that they are, all that you are right now, always, in all ways. May each of us experience our sacred place in the whole, in all that is, in this interconnected mycelial network of life. All together right now. Breathing into the reality of that, letting go of all that is excess, all that you don't need. Breathing in. Life-giving love, and sharing that love with all. For the highest good of all. Knowing that the more we share, the more we clarify our own bodies and beings. And heal that which has been in this life and beyond, in our ancestors, and those who come after. And so it is. Just gonna hum into that. Two more. And feel free to harmonize. Woo! Juicy, juicy, juicy. I love you. Thank you. Eunice's healthy bridge mix. Crunch factor. Crunch factor. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you soon. Much love.